Again, good morning. For the last 10 months working with elementary school kids in Phase On, I've gotten to see a different side of public education. One that most people, when they think of teacher-student dynamics, don't actually consider. One of the biggest things that I've been confronted with is teachers who are bullying their students. When most people think of bullying, it never occurs to them that adults would bully children. And one thing that I've noticed is nobody ever takes into account what effect that bullying has on the student. What does it mean when your teacher is your bully? The last 10 months, I've been confronted multiple times with this different question. Wanting to change the culture in public education is a call to arms for all educators, parents, and future parents. Most teachers I've seen try to rationalize their bullying of their students as a part of basic classroom discipline and ignoring the adverse effects it actually has on their students. More often than not, the student ends up internalizing this bullying that they suffer from the hands of their teachers, and it affects not only their self-esteem, but their classwork as well. Throughout getting ready for this actual presentation of learning, I came across a story about two teachers at a school in Louisiana who were physically bullying a student to the point where they promised other students passing grades if they would physically assault another student. These two teachers were reported to the school multiple times. No one ever believed the student. It wasn't until the other students actually got into a physical altercation with that particular student and notified the other adults in the administration about what was going on that something was done. In 2014, there was a study that addressed bullying, but they never really talked about how adults bully children. And it was said in that study that they didn't cover that because it is a taboo subject. It's something that most adults don't want to talk about, and most students aren't believed when they bring it up. Bullying, I've seen, is a part of regular school culture. It's something that happens all the time, every day. Even when I was at Phase On, there's one teacher in particular. You could literally hear her screaming at her classroom down the hall. She would scream at her children from the time she picked them up at breakfast until it was time for her to dismiss them at the end of the day. And addressing these issues with adults requires a complete overhaul of the classroom training that teachers receive. They need to be aware of how their behavior as an authority figure affects the students. There also needs to be new language drafted for the ethics policies that teachers are supposed to follow while they're in the classroom, because at the moment, there is nothing to hold them accountable for any of the things that they do to their students. On multiple occasions, I've seen teachers physically assault their students, be it dragging them down a hallway or dragging them across a baseball field because the student wasn't listening in the way that they wanted them to listen. I've seen auxiliary staff physically twist a child's arm to the point that they almost broke it, and for other adults to stand around and do nothing. That is something that needs to be addressed. A lot of students, because of this, are developing anxiety as well as going through depression that is being undiagnosed because most parents will not believe a student, their students, or their child when they say, my teacher is bullying me. I'm sorry. Yes. Another thing we need to do is address this head on, making sure that our students are safe and making sure that the tactics that we are using to discipline children are not going to adversely affect them physically and or mentally. We need to stop using verbal violence against children. Screaming at them, telling them that they are worthless, or bullying them for bullying other students is not an effective way to teach children how to react. In most instances, they are asking the student to be more emotionally mature than their age allows. The biggest way we could do this is, as you all know, if you've worked in a school, there are a lot of teacher in-service days. None of them are geared towards training teachers on how to interact with students, even the difficult students. We need to use those days as training sessions for teachers so that they understand how their behavior, be it physical or verbal, affects their students. At no point should we be telling our students that they are stupid or they are worthless because they are not following our directions to a T. And that's all. Have a good day.